Browns fans. The day has finally arrived. It has been a while. I have been setting this shirt out for the last couple of seasons. It's even been washed a time or two, but only worn once until today. But it is a Victory Monday for all of my brethren out there in Cleveland, all my Browns fans. Way to hang on until the end. What a crazy Sunday and a magical one, I must say. It feels even better than anticipated today. I'm glowing, and it's probably not just the toxicity leaving my body today after what was a very fun weekend. Shout out Cody Jinks and Youngstown bringing us in. Great concert. And then the people at the Barley House took really good care of us yesterday leading up to the Browns game. And oh man, did it close with a bang. We're going to try to start with some fireworks, though, here tonight. I am Brian Skorotsky. This is the OH.Report video podcast, Season 5, Episode number 5. So take both of those together, cram them side by side. It's a perfect 10. That's the kind of show that we're trying to have here tonight. And I've got a whole bunch of cool stuff to talk about all by my lonesome because we got people out of some volleyball matches tonight. Jonathan Langdon is getting some cool feature-esque stuff for his new show that's all about high school volleyball, The Block Party. If you didn't see it last Thursday, tune in this week. It's going to keep getting better and better. But coming up tonight, I've got my mid-season high school football awards. That's all according to me in our coverage area. So I'm going to hand out some fake trophies video style and let you know who I feel like are the best teams, coaches, athletes going right now in North Central Ohio and beyond. Per usual, we've got your top plays of the week and your Friday Night Phenoms that are going to be shown right here on the show. Always have the 10 top plays, and we have 7 Phenoms this week. Double dip if you vote right here live and free on the podcast. Here tonight. We've got Air Force commit. Brayden DeVito is going to call into the show. He's got his Whippets off to a nice 5-0 start, and slowly he's starting to climb the ladder in terms of the state and the passing leaders. Probably will finish at like number 4 all time if he continues at the same pace that he's on. So we're going to talk about that, his awesome start, his amazing career, 4-year starter at a program that has the reputation and the victories that Shelby has. So really looking forward to talking to the man that we used to call Baby Goat around here on the OH.Report. But he's all grown up now, man. He's like a full grown real person, man. We got a mother-daughter combo also who we're about to talk to here in just a moment from Buckeye Central and the Lady Buckettes. They are leading the Northern 10. They're all alone at the top of the mountain looking down at everybody else. Plus, we'll get you ready for some Monday Night Football. Lions are at Baltimore tonight. Craziness happened yesterday in the kicking game in the NFL too. I was just paying attention to the one game up in Cleveland, so I'm told Jonathan put together a compilation for us of just wackiness that was NFL week number 3 in the kicking game. But let's start with the reason why I'm in such a good mood today. My Cleveland Browns, again, we outplay an opponent that pretty much nobody gave us a chance to win against yesterday. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage and show you what happened yesterday. We need the whole highlight. I need this to start from the beginning, man. I'm going to break this whole thing down. This is kind of mid-season form here with the game. Quinshon Judkins getting into the end zone, the rookie, for the first time this season. But here it is. Let's break it down for you guys, okay? So the Packers, I think everybody's darling pick now to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. We hold them scoreless in the first quarter. Look pretty good. The Browns defense, they have played well so far at home this season. The offense struggling a bit here. Yeah, this is a 4th down. Joe Flacco just going to put it up into heavy traffic, and 3 guys there in white uniforms. Can't do that, Joe, but he tends to do it at least once or twice per week. Here's Jordan Love to John Fitzpatrick on a 3rd down, and that's really the first touchdown of the game. This is the first points of the game for the Browns, and it came late, under 4 minutes to go. Andrew Smythe's field goal would make this a 10-10 game after we showed you Judkins getting in for his first career touchdown, tying it at 10. What you're not going to see is the interception that Jordan Love throws that sets this up. It's blocked. The Browns go the other way. We dive on top of it. There's only a few seconds left. We have time for one throw. After Greg Newsom dives on top of it, we set it up, a 55-yarder, and the man that everyone kind of wanted to run out of town after he missed a couple of kicks in week number 1. He drills a 55-yard walk-off. The hero of Cleveland shouldn't have to pay for a drink for a while. Mr. Smythe's really want to just applaud him and the Browns and the Browns Nation for holding out. It was a packed house yesterday. A lot of Packers fans were actually in the building too, and just around the city of Cleveland. So two really solid fan bases, two of the very best that we have going in the NFL. They have tailgating just like we do in Cleveland, and not every NFL team has that. That's the experience that I've heard from a lot of visiting NFL fans that come from places like Los Angeles or even Chicago. Doesn't really have that great of a scene with the tailgating before the game, but Cleveland does it right, and the win, it feels really good. And defensively, this team has been even better than that. Through 2 weeks in our home games, how about 8 sacks? Myles Garrett's got 3.5 of them. They're only giving up 2.4 yards per carry, 25 pressures on the quarterback as well. Those are all top 3 in the league so far for any team that's playing at home. And we're going on the road next week at Detroit. Then we return home against the Vikings in week 5. So even though we shouldn't have our expectations jump too much, it was not a pretty game, but it all kind of fell into our lap at the end. And that's what teams need to do in the league. We saw it. It's a make or miss league sometimes, like week 1. All we have to do is make an extra point and the field goal, boom. We're 2-1 right now, but just having the victory and being able to wear this shirt and not just taking up space in my closet rack right now feels pretty good. So I thought that we'd just brag on my Browns just for a minute here and just take in the victory Monday. But it's time to move on, all right? Because we're going to go fresh off of one team that just scored a big win to a local volleyball program who, as I said, they are all by themselves at the top of the Northern 10 standings, seeking their first league title since they claimed 5 of 6 of them from 2016 through 2021. Please do welcome to the show the McDougal duo of Missy and senior sitter Marin. What's up, ladies? How we doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I presume you're at Casa de McDougal right now?
We are.
Where is home for the McDougals? Where you guys live at?
Right in New Washington.
Oh, right, in New Washington. So how is life out there in the town with, I think you got one stoplight, right? How are things going for you guys?
I don't think there is a stoplight anymore, but, we're doing good. It's nice and quiet over here.
Well, not when you're playing in the gym. First place in the league right now, so obviously you've got the city taking notice at this point. What's it been like being able to elevate your guys to the top of the league here? I know that you've kind of been dealing with the Klopp sisters, and Mohawk has been at the top of the league here for the last couple of years. So how have you been able to separate yourselves a little bit from the Warriors this season to where now you're kind of the team that everyone's looking at?
I think that we're just trying to focus on us this year. We felt going into the season that we had a chance to be very competitive, and we have aspirations of winning the league. And then we go out and get beat by Cary that very first opening night of the N10, and we've battled back. We haven't given up. We've continued to work and practice, get better every day. And really, when we went into Mohawk, we felt we could beat them. We don't have anybody that's going to stop Biz Klopp. She's great. She's a fabulous player. She's a 2-time N10 Player of the Year. But we feel that we've got a really strong team this year. We don't rely on any one person. And we just wanted to worry about us. We wanted to dig. We wanted to put a decent block on her and try to make the rest of the team beat us. And finally, we won a 5-setter over at Mohawk.
And you guys won a huge game, too, on Thursday. You mentioned that Cary beat you early on in the season. You sweep them on Thursday last week, Marin. So being out there on the floor, taking a big step towards winning the Northern 10 championship like you did with that victory. Break down for me what you think kind of went right for the Buckettes in that one.
Honestly, I think everything kind of went right for us. We had great serve receive, great communication. We were super scrappy, and sometimes we lack in one or two, and you can tell. But overall, we just played really good. So yeah.
Missy, what would you say is your top takeaway from that performance?
I thought our serving was phenomenal. We served over 98% as a team. We missed 1 serve in 3 sets. And don't hold me to this number, but I think we probably had 11, 12, 13 aces to 1 air. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I thought we really served aggressive at them and really kept them from getting into any flow. And that was, to me, the huge key to us winning.
And you guys, you're going to be at home tomorrow when you play Upper Sandusky, but looking at the schedule here, then you got 5 straight road matches after that. So not that you're looking past the Rams, but I'm curious what your approach might be. You're getting prepared, and you're going to be taking a lot of bus trips, the late nights getting home, maybe not the best diet plan because it's kind of grab and go at the convenience store. So how do you compartmentalize it all with your team and just make sure that those couple of weeks where you're not playing at home at all, that you're staying locked in and doing the best that you can, not just as athletes, of course, but at life, because there's a lot going on when you're a high school kid.
There is. There's a lot for these girls, but we look at road trips. Luckily and thankfully, we don't have to travel too far. So the girls need to get home after school. They need to eat something healthy. We try to stress that to them. They need to be properly fueled and hydrated that the day before the game. And, really, they need to not worry about being away. They need to focus on doing what's important. They need to focus on passing. They need to focus on playing together, communicating well, and doing all the little things right. And, to me, there's no excuse whether we're playing home, whether we're playing away. So, and they do have to fit their schoolwork into that. But all the girls do a great job with that.
And then Marin, Mom mentioned, you got to eat healthy, but when you're stopping at the gas station and maybe let's say you got $10 to your name, how are you going to put together a little variety pack that makes sure that you've got the fuel that is necessary to get out there and perform at your best? Because there's going to be a lot of Twinkies that you can walk by. I know the zebra cakes, they always kind of catch my eye, and then they kind of catch me up at the counter paying for them too when it's all said and done. What is your best $10 compilation at the convenience store that you can do on game day?
Starting off, I probably would get like an energy drink, so probably a
Great
Celsius. And for food, oh gosh, probably like a Slim Jim or something, just like some protein.
Okay,
Thankfully,
that's like
she comes home.
$3
She gets out of school early, so she comes home. So we can make sure she gets some real food.
Yeah, and you get a pocket $5 too. You're only about halfway to the budget there, Marin. So just don't tell Mom that you're only spending 5 of her 10 when you pick up that Slim Jim and that Celsius. But let's talk about just life as a mother-daughter combo at home right now. It used to be a whole lot more crowded. So just having you two at the house at this point, how has the dynamic changed a little bit? Just in your guys' relationship, obviously the baby and the family, and Mom's been coaching you for the last few years now. How is your guys' conversations and just overall impact on each other? How has that developed here so far this year?
Well, Marin's nodding at me like she wants me to talk first, but I can't speak for her. But I think that it's went pretty well this year. This so far, I think, has been the best year of her 4 years in high school. We've gotten along much better. Marin knows she has a lot of responsibility. She doesn't have her sister or sisters to help carry that leadership role, and she's done a good job this year. It is challenging. I think just tonight, she's like, I asked her a question. She's like, is this going to be about volleyball? Not tonight, So we have to try to, separate that when we get home and not talk too much about volleyball. But at the end of the day, we still do. We watch film together at times, and we do talk a lot about volleyball. So
Yeah.
it's going well. It's always a challenge, though.
Yeah, teenage girls, they present a few different cards in the deck that you're not really prepared for. But I get these visions, and now if it's just used to, it's probably a lot different. But when all of the entire compilation of the McDougal girls were there, Missy, I just envisioned there's a game going on in the living room and maybe even at dinner asking to pass the rolls, and they got to get in a setter position to make sure that it gets over there. So how much of that is actually true, and was there a lot of sports and volleyball kind of going down all the time?
Not with food, but we've played a ton of volleyball. I mean, I've got pictures from when the girls were 2 years old. It started with balloons in the living room, and then it progressed to like some softer balls, and then it moved to volleyballs at about 3 and 4. And we've always peppered in the house. We've got some fun videos of us. We've got glass windows. I've got glass around the the TV case, and we've never broken anything. I think Mayor may have knocked down some some curtains, but other than that, we haven't had any major catastrophes. But we've played a ton of volleyball. We've played a ton of sports, and just always try to stay active at the house ever since they've been little kids. So it's kind of neat to see where we've come, where they've come, and it's kind of sad though that we're nearing the end of that.
Are you guys feeling that a little bit now since the end of the tunnel? I mean, it's kind of there. You got one more season where you two are together. Is it a little bit of a different sensation and a feeling this season than the last couple?
Absolutely. I've coached the girls in every sport almost, since they've been probably about 5 years old. My husband and I have always, taken on that role. And it's really weird. It's really weird to think that part of it's going to end with having a kid to coach.
Yeah, with Mia and Mara out of the house now, how nice is it just to have kind of the bathroom access to yourself now, Marin? Has that really been a nice unlock for you, being able to get all of your hair done the way that you need to and makeup on point?
Actually, yeah, it's been pretty clean, to say the least. So, not saying any names, but bathroom's clean now. It's not a mess.
Well, you're allowed to here. I mean, they can't really fight back. It's just us talking and maybe the viewing audience. So if you would have to just kind of name drop one of the sisters that you were kind of looking after, even though you were the younger sis, is there one that stands out more than the other?
Both, if I had to say one. But if I had to, actually pick one, probably Mara, because she leaves a mess everywhere.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fair enough. And you don't have to out yourself here, but Mom said that there weren't many major catastrophes playing volleyball in the house. Is that mostly true, or is there maybe a piece of china that's hidden somewhere out back? Maybe you dug a hole and then Missy just doesn't know that.
The most that I ever broke was the curtain, but we were getting new ones anyways, so I was kind of doing them a favor that's how I think of it. But I don't think anyone else broke anything. I think it was just a curtain, but it was a big curtain. But it's okay.
Well, I'll let you know just how skilled you girls all are. I mean, if that's all that you broke through all these years. And I'm sure you're probably constantly getting compared to both of your sisters because you play the same sports, similar positions and all of that. So describe, Marin, in what ways do you feel like you've got some special value, maybe not even as a player, but personality-wise, and also as a volleyball player? Where do you stand out, or where are you different from your two big sisters?
Honestly, I think, I don't know. Position-wise, we're all different. Mara, better passer, I'm a setter. Mia's a hitter. I mean, Mara hit too. But, leadership-wise, I would say, we are all different in our own way. But I think we all, make do, if that makes sense. But, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I know that your mom, reading about her and what she accomplished in high school out there in New Washington, a couple of state Final Four appearances in some volleyball, a couple of states in basketball as well. Did that come with some pressure when you got into high school, trying to live up to mama's expectations as well?
No, I wouldn't say so. I don't think she ever, really put pressure on us to, I don't know, want to, be her, you know what I'm saying? But I think, I don't think so. There's no pressure for me. I don't know about my sisters, but not for me.
You want to brag on yourself for a minute, Missy? Could they even, fill your shoes when you were a high school athlete? Has anybody stacked up, do you think, in the family yet?
They're all much, much better volleyball players than I was. None of them have stacked up to me in basketball. But one thing my husband and I, we both were college athletes, and we did what we wanted to do. We never wanted the kids to have any pressure to do what we did. We wanted them to find their own way, their own path. And they did. I didn't end up really with, none of my girls really played basketball. Mara did a little bit, but she was injured too much. And that never bothered me. I thought when I had 3 girls, I had 3/5 of a basketball team back to back to back. And lo and behold, I didn't. But I had half of a volleyball team. So, I'm super proud of them for what they do and what they accomplished on their own. They put in the work. People don't realize the amount of work that they've put in over the years. And I'm really proud of that work ethic and what they've done to try to make themselves and their team successful.
Well, it's shown. You guys have been right in the mix here in the Northern 10 and now at the top of the standings. So as a senior on the team and one of the leaders and the captain, what were the expectations coming into the season? I imagine you're hitting quite a few of the benchmarks right now, but what's going to be ultimate success for Buckeye Central when the 2025 season is all said and done, Marin?
I think a team goal we really had was to win the N10. or at least compete for like the top. And I think we're doing that right now. And I think we just have to like keep pushing through and like not take any team lightly. That was a big one. But for personal goals, I think some of our team and me, like we each have our own personal goals. I think that we're hitting by ourselves, so that's important too.
Well, congratulations on a great start to the season. I hope you keep hitting those check marks and just taking it to where you guys feel like you can out there in Chuck City. Is that still a nickname for New Washington? You guys still calling it that over there?
I don't think. That's a few years ago, and that was more basketball anyway. So.
All right. Well, so we kind of need a volleyball nickname then. I think that's what I just took from that. So have you guys heard anything as of recent times?
Gosh, I haven't, but I'll put the girls to task on that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Well, appreciate you ladies for joining us here tonight. Enjoy your company that you have with one another for the rest of your remaining days here as the mother-daughter combo. And just keep the lampshades intact and no more breaking any of the household items there, Marin, okay?
Okay. Can't promise, but you know.
Thanks for having us tonight, Brian. We appreciate it.
All right. My pleasure. McDougal's, everybody. The combo that just keeps on giving. And it was a 4-pack just a couple of years ago. And got to talk to those two and one of the other sisters as well on Coach's Corner 2 years back. And they're just such a fun-loving family. And you can tell that they're way more than just great athletes. And Missy's got a pretty good pulse on everything, too. They did really well at the games that we played. So that's why they're having so much success. Obviously, there's a ton of other players on the team, but when you get that leader and you can have your captain out there just kind of locked in where, I mean, they're talking probably on the car rides. They said tonight they don't really want to talk about volleyball per se with one another, but I'm sure that that's happening a lot where techniques, trial and error, just figuring out the emotions of the team and all that. So Buckeye Central, that's where they're in a fantastic spot right now, looking like they are the team to beat right now in the N10 and getting over that hump of they hadn't beat one of the Klopp sisters. I like probably in 8 tries or so. So I'll have to do my research on that one. But getting that win over Mohawk, that probably was like, oh, such a breath of fresh air. And they probably had on Victory Monday t-shirts after they beat Mohawk earlier on in the season. And that win over Cary, too, gives them a full game lead over both the Warriors and the Blue Devils. And we're going to have each of their last 2 matches of the year. I know they play Seneca East, and they've got Mohawk. That's October 4th. So we've got, coming up in October, you can kind of see their last couple of games and how they're able to try to hang on to the Northern 10 crown. Guys, I got something special for you here. We cover a lot of high school football here on this network, more than any other company, maybe in all of North Central Ohio and beyond. So all the conferences that we see, all the teams, it got me thinking we're 5 weeks in. It's the midway point. What is some of the best, coolest stuff that I've seen so far? So please welcome to my midseason high school football award show. And I'm going to begin hot right out of the gates. We're going to go with the team of the year. I'm going with the Hillsdale Falcons. Second straight 5-0 start for Trevor Klein and his boys. The Falcons are ranked number 1 right now in Division 7, Region 27. They've scored 196 points already this year. They've only allowed 34. So the differential, it has been noticeable on Friday nights. And behind their program leading rusher Owen Sloan, they're averaging 176 rush yards per game. Kel Lewis, their second-year signal caller, the junior, he's got 13 pass touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and they've been doing a lot of the work lately without arguably their biggest playmaker in Hayden McFadden. He's been out the last couple of games, and they still had running clock victories, including on the road at Downton, a team that's been right up there at the top of the WCAL for a ton of years. So that's why the Hillsdale Falcons are my team so far of the year. My coach of the half year so far, look no further than we'll go down the highway down into purple people eater country. That's right. Mike Reed of Mount Gilead. And his Indians off to a 5-0 start. They have won a couple of nail-biters in Week 2 versus Upper Sandusky, and then Week 4 over Danville. Really impressed me, of course, with what they accomplished last week. 41-7. They beat down a previously undefeated Fredericktown squad in a battle of 4-0 versus 4-0. So there was a lot of pressure on Coach to come out and succeed, and he did with a running clock. Over the next 5 weeks, they're going to play 3 teams with winning records, including at Centerburg, who's 4-1 right now in week number 7. Those are going to go a long way to determining if they can win their first ever KMAC championship. But for right now, Mike Reed is my coach of the half year. The offense of the half year belongs to the Shelby Whippets. They are also undefeated, averaging nearly 50 points per game. That's right. Don't adjust your monitors. They've scored 245 points already. Their season low was 37 points against Lexington, and that's the only loss so far for the Minutemen. They've also given Galleon their only loss. 2 really good defenses, and they clobbered them. They have the MOAC's leading rusher in Brayden DeVito, the area's leading receiver in Brady Bowman. Play calling is on a whole different level, too. When you watch this Shelby team, Robert Mahaney and his staff, they're incredibly creative. They know exactly what to do with the personnel out on the field, and that's why they're scoring 50 points per game, and they are your offense of the half year. Defensively, so far through 5 weeks of the season, we talked about the coach of the year. Mike Reed's in that position because his defense has been so impactful. I'm going with the Indians of Mount Gilead because they've shut down pretty much everybody all season, allowing just 9.6 points per game. And those Purple People Eaters have also scored multiple touchdowns on defense, including a top play nominee for Week 5 that you're going to see here very soon. They have allowed just 1 score in 4 of their 5 games up to this point, which is the number 1 reason why they are 5-0, perhaps for the first time ever. We knew that they were 3-0 and 4-0 for the first time in a long time, but we're not so sure that they've ever been at this point where they're still undefeated halfway through the season, and you see why right there. The defense turning in some points the other way. They've been awesome. My surprise team of the half year, the Clear Fork Colts. They are just 1 late game interception away from being 5-0 right now in the year. The Colts have wins over Perkins, who was last year's Division IV runner-up, probably should have been the state champions. A Division III program in Zanesville. They beat Ontario in a game where they needed to make a defensive interception in the closing minutes to seal the win. They've had walk-off kicks as well. That was against the Pirates clear back in Week 1. And now they're coming off a 34-0 win on the road at Pleasant. This was the least productive offense in the MOAC period last year, and over the last couple of seasons, they're now averaging 26.5 points per game and allowing just 24 total points with 2 shutouts outside of their loss to Lexington, which was on the road. So that is why the Colts, with Devin Oswalt and all the different weapons that they have, you see the slick running as well. Couple-year starter right there. They've got a lot of different moving pieces and parts, and of course, when they're at home, they are a force to be reckoned with in the Colt Corral. Your surprise team of the half year in the positive sense. On the not-so-good side of the tracks, my surprise team of the year is Danville. Coming off of a regional championship season, they have struggled out of the gates, trying to turn over some new personnel. Losses in 3 of their last 4 weeks, and they only scored 8 points in a loss to Utica in their home opener on Tough Street with the brand new turf. It's the only win for the Redskins all season. This was mine and several other media members' picks to actually be the KMAC champions this year, and guess what? They are in dead last. 0-2 so far out of the gates. And the brand new playing surface out there, it looks awesome on video. It has not turned in awesome results so far. Plenty of time still to turn it around. We're just at the midway point, but that is my surprise team of the year on the not so good side of things, the Danville Blue Devils. But I do believe in Coach Bloom and this squad. They will get it turned around over the next several weeks. Too much pride down there in Blue Devil country. Moving on now to my MVP of the half season. And there's been 2 players so good that I'm splitting this right down the middle between 2 outstanding D1 commit QBs that are also playing some defense this season. Brayden DeVito leading the Shelby Whippets to a 5-0 start. He leads the MOAC in rushing yardage and explosive plays, completing 75% of his passes and has only turned the ball over 2 times. Even though he touches it every single down, he's got over 20 combined touchdowns, and he's also the best lockdown defender, in my opinion, that the Whippets have on defense, which is the #1 ranked team in the Division IV coaches poll. If not for a crazy ending to the craziest football game that I've seen in the playoffs last year, where they ended up losing to Ontario at the very end of the game, they would have played in a regional final and maybe even beyond. Who knows? But I do know that that young man wearing the number 2 uniform is highly motivated. He is my MVP of the half year, but he's sharing the award with another 5-0 team and their quarterback, Nathan Bernhardt. The Ashland senior has been completing 65% of his throws so far, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He leads the Arrows with 348 rushing yards as well on 78 carries and has rushed for 11 touchdowns this season. That is a huge jump from where he was a year ago. Ashland's offense has scored at least 34 points every single week. They're ranked 2nd in the D2 Region 7 ratings right now, and like DeVito, probably pretty motivated to improve off of last year's postseason. So your co-MVP, Nathan Bernhardt of the Ashland Arrows. And those are my mid-season football awards for 2025. Pretty good list. Get the debate going right now in the comment section, though. Shelby, I think, is the clear best offense that we have in our backyard. Mount Gilead, too. There was a few other teams that I think that you could have put in there. Clear Fork, I thought, was very much in the running as well. But those are my half-season awards. I'm sticking to them and very intrigued by what we're going to see from all of those different teams and, of course, the athletes moving forward here into the second half of the season. But, guys, it's time now to spin back the clocks and kind of review what we saw in week number 5 of the season. That's right. I have got your top plays of the week, your nominees. Here are the 10.
It's top plays from week number 5, all presented by Spirion Mid-Ohio. Let's get the countdown started with some opportunistic defense, shall we? Colonel Crawford bearing down on the QB, forces the misthrow, and Trey Scraggs there for the Eagles' INT. He would follow the lineman motorcade all the way back into the end zone for the score. You see it again here. Skaggs with the pressure leads to the slippery toss, and the undefeated Eagles win big on the road, 42-8. The defending K-Mac champs built a 3-score lead on the road in Danville, where the Tough Street gang would get a forced fumble here from West Payne. He pops right up and then heads the other way with the scoop and the score. Northmore got the win, but Payne's efforts earns the Blue Devil top play. Offense on the way here at nominee 3, Eli Stumpf. Gonna check it down eventually to Dallas Bill, who skates by a defender, then he throws it into high gear. Cutting back all the way across the field, and the Dallas Buyers Club signed it up for 71 yards in a 28-7 Big Walnut victory. More game-changing defense coming up here at nominee number 4. Galleon sophomore Kurt Hay back in coverage, and he steals possession from Ontario in the back of the end zone, showing off crazy athleticism to hang on to the rock. And as you look at it again, the tight coverage, critical takeaway, all huge in this game. Just a 7-0 Tiger victory on the road at Niss Stadium. I've got a double dose of love checking in from the heart of Ohio. Corner blitz off the edge for Hayden Love leads to a Loudonville fumble. Centerburg would recover, and the very next play off the turnover, Blaine Ball putting more love in the air. Hayden beats the double coverage for the 25-yard Trojans touchdown. It's a game of hot potato at nominee 6. Owen Sloan needing some oven mitts to handle the exchange, but calmly secures the package, and he will find his way through the hole, scorching the Downton defense for a 79-yard touchdown sprint. And oh yeah, the camera shaking its head in agreement that this play definitely deserves some of your votes. Another long TD coming up at nominee 7, Harding. backed up at their own end, and they've got the perfect play call on here for Landon Keller with the screen. And just look at the President's linemen clear the way like Secret Service for Air Force One. 78 yards untouched and a 12-point win over the Vikings. Special teams sauce checking in at number 8, fresh off a one-play touchdown drive to start the third. Martin Sperry gets possession immediately back. Jacob Thaker calling his own number here with the onside kick, and this play just totally rearranged the rest of the night as the Purple Riders scored 28 unanswered second-half points to claim a big win at Lucas, over 110 miles from their campus. It's 4-0 versus 4-0 at the reservation on Friday. Fredericktown on the hunt for a comeback, but Cooper Nelson wrenches that idea right out of their midst, and he's going to ghost them back the other way, 47 yards on the rip and run. Indians dominated the Freddies 41-7. Total momentum swing right here, though, to help keep Mount Gilead spotless, now at 5-0. I've got one last K-Mac defensive special on the menu for our final nominee. Parker Proper looking deep for Danville, but finds Brad Bolin sitting in coverage, and the soft has his eyes fixated on the end zone. Slick cutback, and he will take it to the crib. 62-yard. Pick 6 for the Northmore Golden Knights in a big win over their rivals. Back, Joe. Those are your Week 5 top plays. Vote right now in the comment section below.
Get in that double dip too if you're watching on the podcast right now. Every single comment for a vote that you bring in counts for not 1 but 2 votes on our countdown. And how about all the defense that we had this week? I think we had no defensive plays last week. It kind of goes in cycles that way. A couple of weeks ago as well, there were plenty of pick sixes and different things that happened in the game. So I love it, man. When we have that many defensive plays that make it on the countdown, more than half of the plays this week ended up being in that manner. And then also the special teams, baby. That's right, for the brand. And I love the headline there too, that the Pat McAfee special, seeing the opening in the middle, and that's what they did. The Purple Riders just right up the zone. Little pooch kick, dive on top of it. So make your voice heard. Get in your votes right now. All right, guys, that's your top plays of the week, but also we have unbelievable performances that are turned in by individuals week in, week out, week 5, no exception here on the OH Report. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Travis Berardi. He has got your Friday Night Phenoms.
Time now for your Week 5 Friday Night Phenoms, presented to you by Spherion Mid-Ohio. It's now back-to-back weeks that Centerburg's rushing attack has made the Phenominy list, but this time it's from the quarterback position, as Blaine Ball had an outstanding showing on Friday night, rushing 11 times for 183 yards and 3 scores, while adding another touchdown through the air. He, along with Miles Marshall, nearly ran for 400 yards in their win over Loudonville. Just down the road at Big Walnut, Eli Stump said, "If Blaine can do it, so can I." After Nolan Burley's 5-touchdown performance made the Noms last week, Stump gets the nod this week with 166 passing yards and a score, but also added 3 rushing touchdowns as the Golden Eagles run their win streak to 4 games. Nom number 3 gave us our first For the Brand nomination of the season, as Colonel Crawford's Joseph Zizzo was perfect kicking and the Eagles' blowout win over Buckeye Central, going 7 for 7 in extra points. But he also didn't let the Bucks get any momentum to answer their scores with 3 touchbacks, as the Eagles are now 5-0. Nominee number 4 is almost to the 3/4 of a century mark on the ground through only 5 games, as Hillsdale's dominating back Owen Sloan left no doubt in the Falcons' blowout win over Doughton, carrying the Rocks 17 times for 178 yards and 2 scores. That's 10.5 yards per carry. It's the 3rd time he surpassed the century mark, with the Falcons flying high at 5-0. Mount Gilead's Carson Barnum may be the area's leading rusher, but Mike Reed's squad has quite the complementary piece in our 5th nominee, Jacob Wilt. You think Sloan's 10.5 yards per carry is phenomenal? Try 33. That was the number Wilt posted, carrying the ball only 4 times, but racking up 132 yards and 2 scores, as the Indians are 5-0 for only the second time ever. Nominee number 6 and his squad from Martins Ferry made the long bus ride to Lucas High School, and Joaquin Cox made sure they went back to the Ohio Valley happy as he went off against the Cubs for 258 rushing yards and 3 scores. 2 of those touchdown totes went from 20-plus yards, as the Purple Riders are now back to 500 at 2-2. Our final nominee may have won his fantasy owners their matchup with his performance alone on Friday night, as Western Reserve's Landon Weigel put up massive numbers against St. Paul, carrying the Pigskin 27 times for 169 yards. But the biggest stat was the 5 times he reached the end zone. In a PPR league, that's a cool 46 points. There are your 7 nominees. It is now time to cast your vote, with the winner being announced on Friday's episode of The Pigskin, and it's all brought to you by Spherion Mid-Ohio.
Get in your double dip right now, live and free on the OH.Report video podcast. Joining me now is one of my co-MVPs of the half year, who's closing in on the Mount Rushmore, I think, potentially, of Ohio high school quarterbacks. He is the signal caller for the 5-0 undefeated Shelby Whippets. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Brayden DeVito. Brayden, how you doing tonight, son? Where were you taking in the podcast from? Where are you calling from tonight?
Down in my room.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, it's kind of dark in there, man. Is that you kind of keep it that way more often than not?
Yeah, I'm at my desk. I just do homework and chill out.
Tell me about practice today, and other than just like chilling out at your dad's crib, how you spending your Monday evening today?
So after we went through game plan, got our new team's scout. We play River Valley this week. It's a new type of challenge. I like to pass the ball, so went over our new defenses for the week, and then came home, ate dinner, and probably after I hop up here, get ready for bed.
What was on the menu for tonight? What did Pops have for you?
He whipped up some ribs, rice, and broccoli.
That's an all-American dinner right there, my friend. And you've been an all-American kid so far during your Shelby career. It's kind of wild that it's your last season of high school football, but also it feels like I've been covering you forever. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic in that regard. What kind of perspective do you have on just your high school career as a football player? Not very many 4-year starters at your position that we have, and especially not for places like Shelby, where it's such a rich tradition of football play. So have you thought much just about like this being your last year, and the fact that you've been doing a lot of things for the last 4?
Yeah, I mean, Shelby is an awesome place with, like you said, great tradition. So just being able to look back on it and everything that I've been able to do with the help of my coaches and friends and teammates, it's a blessing. And then to be able to continue this year with the rest of football and basketball and track, it's just, I'm very excited. I'm blessed to have grown up in Shelby.
And when we first caught wind of you coming up through the ranks and you were a freshman and you were the starting quarterback, we nicknamed you around here. We called you the Baby Goat. Did you hear about that nickname, and what do you think about the nickname Baby Goat? We've dropped it now that you're all grown up and you're a senior now, but what's your thoughts on that nickname?
Yeah, I remember hearing that nickname. It was I thought it was pretty cool as a freshman. It was a funny type name, but like being called the GOAT as a baby goat because I was a freshman, it's just, I got a good chuckle out of it.
Do you have any real nicknames that you still carry with you from childhood, or anything that they call you on the team?
Nah, everybody just calls me BD. It's my first and last initial. And then, I mean, I barely ever get called by my first name. It's just like my last name from everybody.
Yeah, I'm called BS a lot, and I think some people don't even know it's my initials. That's just kind of what I give off sometimes, Brayden. So looking at your career numbers, though, man, congratulations passing 10,000 yards a couple of weeks back. Over 100 pass touchdowns, too. Two of the best marks in Ohio history. You're sliding up the charts at this point. So being a 4-year starter in the offense that plays a lot of spread, you got those pre-snap motions to pay attention to. Describe your development to me in terms of studying the game and what your approach has been from season to season and getting better. So coming into this year, having those many reps under your belt, how did you get ready for what's going to be your last high school football season as a quarterback?
Yeah, so thank you for saying congrats, by the way. But I would say as a senior now, being a 4-year starter and seeing almost everything you can see, playing in big games and a bunch of different stuff, just a lot of different stuff is thrown at you. And as a freshman, I had to learn a lot the hard way. So I have to give full credit to my development, to a lot of it being my offensive coordinator, Gabe Helbert. He worked with me all the time, and because my mechanics were not very good, and he spent countless hours with me. And then coming into this year, it's like taking on that leadership role, because we're going to have some young guys. We have some young guys up with us and some move-ins. So, like, being in the offense for 4 years, definitely got to help some guys out, because, I mean, I've seen it. I know a lot of stuff that some guys don't. So that's really my approach for this season, and just being the best I can as a leader, and then also leading by example and doing everything right from practice to lifts to games, just being a leader for those guys.
And when you've started more than 40 games as a high school quarterback, do you and Gabe get to kind of talk as peers in some regards? Are you getting to be a part of the game plan and developing some things that you really like, and he's kind of putting them a bit more into the mix this year?
So yeah, that's my guy. I mean, we kind of have a great relationship. I mean, he's one of my favorite people. We text all the time, whether it's about football or not. It's just, so yeah, we've kind of grown to for me to be able to see tell him what I see, and give him suggestions, or if I see this play online and I send him a video, I'm like, we should try this or some variation of this. He always finds a way to implement stuff, but rarely do I really have to do much, because everything you see is mostly him and Coach Mahaney. I mean, they are some of the best minds I've seen at the high school level, and they cook up some stuff. So I just trust them, and they are very good at listening, though. They don't take it to their ego at all or nothing. They just listen and try to implement stuff.
Well, the proof's in the product. You guys have won a ton of games, and obviously your stats speak for themselves. Looking at the charts, man, you are likely going to end up 4th all-time in the history of the great Buckeye State in terms of passing yardage. You're going to be going by guys like Justin Swick and Joe Burrow. So you hear stuff like that, you're going to be going beyond guys that are all pros in the NFL potentially here over the next couple of weeks. Do you kind of understand and accept your place in the history of the sport and the game, or is that more for when you're at college or even beyond, you'll look back at some of the highlights and look at your numbers and absorb it? Is that something that you can even really process when you're in the middle of doing it?
I would say right now I haven't looked much into it. As I've heard, like, of course I'm going to hear about the new accomplishments as they come, but right now that's not what we're focused on. It's just week by week. But after it's all said and done, I'm sure I'm going to look back and be like, wow, that was awesome to be able to do that. And truly a blessing, because I was put in a great situation and had so much help from all my teammates, coaches, friends, family. Like, it's going to be surreal, because like you said, you're up there with a select few, some of the greats. Like, I mean, Joe Burrow, like, he's one of the best in the league. So definitely we'll probably look back on it and be like, wow, that's pretty cool.
You're a true dual threat, and I love watching your development this season. It feels like it's more a part of the game plan to have you getting out on the perimeter, more explosive runs than I can remember from you early on in the season. Coming into this year, did you feel like you were stronger in the lower body, maybe a little bit faster than you have been in seasons past? And has that been more of a part of the game plan going in, or has it just been maybe some broken plays and you've been able to capitalize so far with your legs? Where, I mean, you've been pretty awesome at that too. I think you got over 4,000 career rushing yards yourself and leading the MOAC right now in that category.
Yeah, I mean, we do game plan for me to run, of course. Being able to do both opens up a lot of things, and having a new move in at running back and having a bunch of running backs that can run the ball open up opportunities for me, and we kind of go coincide. We help each other out. So, but I would say coming into this year, I definitely feel more explosive and faster, and I think a big part of that is running track this past spring. Something I hadn't done taught me a lot of things, and then Coach Hilbert's weight room over the off season was an amazing routine, and it helped me build up a bunch of strength and speed and agility.
So seeing all these different dudes at practice, you got the great coaching staff, of course. It is kind of an all-star coaching staff here for North Central Ohio, I got to say. Gabe right at the top of the list in terms of what he brings to the equation. But you guys are number one right now in your region, and then you're considered by the coaches poll as well to be the number one team in the state for Division IV. So is that noticeable this year where you just got dudes at pretty much every position? And does it feel like this is the most potential that you've seen so far since you've been donning a Shelby jersey?
Yeah, definitely the most potential that on a team that I played for. We knew coming into this season that we had dudes, and on paper, I knew it was probably going to be the best team I've played on if we do what we're supposed to do, and that's exactly what we've kept in mind. We can't feed into all the preseason lists that came out and the list that we're seeing now and number one in the state. We can't feed into that. So just keeping our minds right and doing the right things has been the major focus for our team, because we know we have talent. So we just need to keep doing our part, keep working hard, and the pieces will align.
Yeah, so far so good. Off to another 5-0 start for you and competing for another MOAC championship. And I'm hoping that you check all the boxes that you're trying to during your high school career. But as you look forward a little bit and your commitment to Air Force, I'm really curious about when they came into the picture for you, how you landed on wanting to go to Colorado Springs and being a part of that program, because it's not going to be an ordinary college experience, of course, when you're going into the armed forces. So how'd they end up on your radar, and ultimately how did the Falcons lure you in to come play ball for them?
Yeah, so as of a service academy, they were the last to offer me and build a relationship. And I would say at that point, I was kind of, after learning about the other two, kind of shrugging them off, like that's not what I wanted to do. And then they just came to an in-home visit, showed me a whole presentation of it, really let me know what it's all about there at Air Force. And it's truly a lot different than the other two. It definitely, each academy is a certain type of kid, and it definitely fit what I wanted to do the most, which is business, specifically finance, going into finance. And they offer that opportunity at a prestigious school such as yourself. And as of like the college experience, yeah, it's a lot different. You're at one of the best leadership schools in the world, and they're trying to build you to be one of our nation's leaders and serve our military, so at a high ranking position. So it's definitely a different type of experience, but I'd say the coaches were a big factor. Visiting, the location was awesome. They truly treated me like family. Meeting with the players, learning the tradition, the football part of it, it's really a brotherhood, and it looks awesome to be a part of something bigger than yourself, such as Air Force. And it's truly an awesome experience, and I could go on, but to get the gist of it, that's really how they got me, was learning all about it. And then it's great football too.
And I don't think very many people kind of understand like the expectations or what happens when you go to one of those type of academies. So break down for me, what was the presentation in terms of the day-to-day? At a certain point, are you considered active military? Are you guys like on call? Are you in the guard? Like, how does it work for you when you're a student athlete there at Air Force? Because you're still training and you're learning to become an airman, but they I don't know, it's kind of a crazy world out there. If they need you, they might have to call your number. So what's your understanding of how it all works for you as a college kid there at Air Force?
Yeah, so being able to visit and see the day-to-day and them telling me what it was going to be like. So basically, you'll go in, do a basic training, 5 weeks, 5 weeks of basic training. I'll leave in June and shave your head, the whole deal. But you're doing it with a bunch of guys that are going through the same thing as you, away from home, going through the whole process. So that makes it a lot easier. And we've already had like 6 Ohio guys commit, and building relationships with them has been awesome. So you'll go in and do that, and then after the basic training, you'll just go into the fall. It'll be like getting ready for the off season, spring training, football, and you'll be at the academy. So you'll have your military stuff every couple weekends, and you'll have to do certain like yard drills, stuff like that. But as for the most part, you're taking classes. They say about 50% of classes end up flying, going into be a pilot, and the others are going into different categories. And I'll be in the part that's not gonna fly. I'll be in like the business acquisitions, or what's really like the finance degree for me. So I'll do that. And then as for the military commitment, it looks like you have to do 4 years after you graduate, but doing the job that you pick and picking where you want to be stationed. So that's a huge bonus, because you can pick what's best for you and you're doing what you want to do. So it looks like I'll be doing finance for the Air Force, and I don't know where I'll be going as of now, but if I wanted to, I could go. We have a station here in Dayton. I mean, it's a pretty awesome opportunity.
That's going to be pretty crazy to see you without the braids, man. You've been rocking that look for a little while, but I know that's all part of the process, and you got to do it. But at least, like you said, there's a bunch of other guys that are going in, and they're going to be doing the same thing as you. At Air Force Academy, kind of the wave these days for a lot of these D1 commits is they're going to only do one semester of their senior year, and then they're going to early enroll so they can be a part of all of the spring football and the training and that type of stuff. And it's I've been told that you're going to stick around. You're going to be at Shelby for your entire senior year. So, take me through that decision, why you wanted to be a part of probably basketball and track and field. And then also, does Air Force allow for early enrollees as well? Did you have the option to do that if you wanted to?
Yeah, so Air Force made it easy. You can't early enroll at Air Force, so that was a decision to stick around. So as of playing basketball and running track, that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a part of those teams. I played basketball all 4 years, started running track last year. Had some pretty awesome memories, so I want to stick around with my guys and enjoy the rest of my senior year. And you only get one high school experience, so that was important to me.
Yeah, I figured you'd want to be involved with basketball again after you got this close sophomore year. Last year, maybe a little bit more development. So senior year, probably want to go out with your name up in lights, I would think, Brayden. Well, dude, I really do. I appreciate you coming on the show, dropping some knowledge on me. And you're always such a media-friendly guy ever since you were a freshman. So I wanted to just kind of understand where that came from, because we're asking you for MVP interviews all the time. I see that others are as well, and you're always very gracious. You're a humble kid. You're well-spoken. Who would you give the most credit to helping you develop in that regard of life, where you're just a really approachable person, and you take it all in stride?
Thank you very much. I mean, those are very kind words. I would have to give credit to my parents and my upbringing and my family. It's just how I was raised. Raised in a Christian household, and taught please, no thank you, all the manners that you learn. I mean, I have to give credit to my parents. I've had an awesome childhood, and just them leading by example has shown me, has made me into who I am. So. But as of media train, my first interview with you guys my freshman year, it was not very good. So definitely having more and more of these interviews has helped over the years.
For sure, you're never gonna come out of the gates and just knock it out of the park. So you've had a chance now. I don't even know how many times we probably interviewed you for MVP. But one thing that kind of bothers me that I gotta say is that you've been up for our Friday Night Phenom dude, probably like 30 times over the last 4 years. You've never won it. No one's ever voted you as the winner. You've had the most ridiculous stats. Some weeks you'll have 7 and 8 touchdowns. Can you make a plea maybe to Shelby Nation, the Hungry Hounds and everybody to, like, let's get you up at the top of the charts one of these weeks?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I think I've seen that. I haven't won the Phenom on here yet, but I know the community Shelby is. I'm sure it's not ill intent. Just need to get on the social medias and type a little comment.
That's right. Well, I know you guys are busy out there, like plowing the fields and doing all the gritty stuff that we all do appreciate. But it does seem we had that. I remember it was Marshall Shepard a couple of years ago. He had all those crazy numbers. There was like a dome over Shelby. We just couldn't get the votes coming in, man. So we'll try to get you one of the Friday Night Phenom victories eventually here, Brayden. But always a great time talking to you, man. Continued success. Keep getting it done. Stay healthy, most importantly, and we'll be seeing you the next however many weeks you can go. Hopefully it's 10 more this season, man. And I can't imagine how you feel after how the playoffs ended for you last year, but let it be a motivator.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, my pleasure. Brayden DeVito of the undefeated Shelby Whippets. Obviously, class act all the way around. You've been seeing him on our airwaves for 4 years, nonstop, because he was the baby goat right away, where he was like right from his first start, he was making big plays. And I think, if memory serves, Shelby was like 5-5 his freshman year, but since then they have just gone to a whole new galaxy, and that's how the area as a whole feels when I talk to other coaches and people that really pay attention, is that they've got the best roster hands down right now in the area, specifically too for one of the medium-sized schools. My half-season pick for the team of the year, the Hillsdale Falcons, if you look at the smaller schools, they're doing the same type of things where they've got plenty of guys back, they've got the tradition, they've got the coaching staff still in place. But it's been awesome to watch his career develop, and the numbers are just, they're mind-boggling when you look at, he's got 15,000 combined yards in high school. In high school, guys, you're only guaranteed 10 games, and then when you get into the postseason, it's tough. They play in a really challenging region. They had a team go all the way to the regional championship game that Sandusky Perkins in Ontario. I mean, there is some really tough competition out there, but Brayden and what he's going to bring to Air Force, he's the perfect type of cat for that situation, and I really do applaud him for stepping up and saying that he wanted to be a part of the service for America while also getting a free education and playing some football. What I didn't ask him, actually, that I'm going to have to find out is if he's planning on playing quarterback at the next level, and if that's something that they told him he's going to get an opportunity to compete for that job, because sometimes they'll look at you, and Brayden, I think we're about the same height, probably about 6 feet tall, and the college quarterback or the pro style, whatever, they want you to be 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", big dude. So he's not exactly that, but he has all the tools. He's got the gifts. So I would actually be pretty surprised if he decided that he just wanted to try to play defensive back or whatever role they fit him into. He definitely is a quarterback at the next level if he so chooses to do so. Guys, I did not pay attention to much of anything except for my Browns yesterday, and even then I got in my feelings kind of midway through the third quarter. I kind of checked out on the group that I was with, went wandering the streets of Cleveland, and then they found me. We got some tacos and we watched the amazing ending go down. But I'm told there was a lot of wacky and wild finishes, a lot of special teams, so lay it on me, man. Let's see what happened yesterday, beginning with this one. Of course, we all know the 43-yarder that could have won the game for the Packers. It was not meant to be. It was Cleveland's day. How amazing was this? And then, yeah, after what happened in week 1 and all the criticism, and I'm hearing the guys on the radio talk about we have to cut him for morale of the team. It's one of 17, 18 weeks, guys. Goodness gracious. What do we got over here? We have the Jets with a block field goal, taking it back all the way to the crib. I know they lost the game, though. So there must have been more wackiness outside of just that, stomping down the sideline. Oh, I did see this one. This was for the win as well. Eagles were up a point. Rams could have won it, but look at the big fella. He's going to take it all the way back to the crib. This highlight I did see. That's fantastic. So 3 games yesterday in the NFL that had special teams block field goals at the end, determining the outcomes. It just lets you see that it is such a razor thin league, and it is, I don't know, I'm such an NBA guy, but the more that I really follow the NFL, I just love the parody of it, because on any given week, who picked the Browns to win in Survivor Pool last week? Nobody. Believe that. And then a lot of other teams that they step up and then they'll just surprise you out of nowhere. The Falcons getting their butts kicked yesterday. You can't really predict it from game to game, week to week, even though these are grown men and they should have a bit of consistency with them. But plays like that is why you can't really go into putting your hard-earned dollars on a bet, and especially when it's Yin's bets, which we've gone over that here on the show, and we might have to retire that thing, because hopefully you guys aren't buying in, and you yeah, DeVito, the same amount of Phenoms wins as Travis has winning cash out bets on this show. I think he's doing good outside of it. He's just not sharing the winners with you. But I shared plenty with you guys here tonight, here as another solo act. But our time has come to a close here on this Victory Monday. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We've got a whole bunch of sports coming up this week on the OH Report. I'm on soccer. We got volleyball. We got the Coach's Corner in Winford this week. The volleyball show, the second episode, goes down on Thursday with Jonathan Langdon. He's super committed to this. He came up to the studio today from Columbus, where he lives, just to kind of iron out and get some more ideas of what he's going to do. And it's going to keep getting better. It's brand new. Just got this thing off the floor. So hopefully you can support that as we support you, the fans, every single week with live and free coverage here on the OH Report. But for now, for tonight, we done. We out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody.